Whatever happened to predictability? The milkman, the paperboy, evening TV. Did I get delivered here? Somebody tell me, please. This whole world's confusing me. Clouds as mean as you've ever seen. Ain't a bird who knows you're true. Then a little voice inside you whispered, kid, don't sell your dreams so soon. Everywhere you look, everywhere there's a heart, a hand to hold on to. Everywhere you look, everywhere there's a face, somebody who needs you. Everywhere you look, when you're lost out there and you're all alone, life is waiting to carry you home. Everywhere you look, everywhere you
You might knock me down, you might knock me down, but I will get back up again. You can call it how you wanna, I ain't giving you $1 this time, I ain't gonna run away. This time, this time, this time I ain't gonna run. Not this time. Not this time. Not this Sorry, I ain't got no money.
Welcome to the middle seats, I mean the center cushion. I'm Andrew Ogier.
And I'm Jake Hensler.
The center cushions, this is technically the pilot of the center cushion, but the middle seats is the longest running entertainment show in the history of Marist College. We're talking about TV today.
We are, for the first time ever.
We've gotten a lot of requests to talk about TV
We have.
before, and we have this big part of being like movie fans and everything, and we're just gonna try to suppress all the movie news that we're gonna be ignoring this week, you know?
Yeah.
There's just a lot to ignore because all these people have been asking us to do TV shows, and
And it just feels right. We're in such a golden age of television that, it feels like we should take our time to actually cover it for once.
right, exactly. No. We're not talking, I know a Star Wars trailer came out today. I know,
Get it-
we're not talking about it.
How'd that even...
Take it,
Oh my...
Amanda, take it out.
Well, it
Amanda,
actually
take
looks
it out.
pretty- it actually
It's
looks
done.
pretty cool.
Okay,
So I know...
sorry about that.
They're everywhere. We can't get rid of them.
One day a Star Wars trailer comes out,
And we're doing TV.
and we're talking about TV. Who cares? Anyways,
Ooh, delicious.
as you may have noticed, we were a lot more casual today, and our structure is going to be a little bit different today. So I think we're going to have a fun time, and let's get into it, right?
All right, yeah. Might as well.
Let's do it.
I mean, I'm not moving, so...
Talk. It's your turn to talk, and I'm going to just
Yeah, fine.
I'm gonna
Either
eat while
way.
you do it.
So, this week, we still have our, typical 3-act structure and all, but we are changing things up a little bit.
I took a long time to chew. We realized that covering all facets of TV in just one episode is just not reasonable, so we brainstormed and we had some help from some wonderful producers to
Wonderful.
help us navigate through the trickiness of today's subject.
Very tricky. So, first of all, we had to ask ourselves, what made us the TV watchers that we are today? What TV personalities shaped our own?
So let's take us back through time. How TV molded who we are as watchers of movies, TV, and all popular culture.
Now, keep in mind, my list goes from least influential to most influential.
While my list goes in chronological order of how I was born, had trouble putting things from other parts of our lives with each other.
Look how much bigger my bag of chips is than yours. I'm so fat. Sorry. So, either way, these 5 shows have had some of the greatest influences on us as we've grown up to the watchers that we are today.
Okay, so I'm gonna kick this off. At some point, we all need to turn on the channel for the first time and engage. For me and many others of our generation, Sesame Street was that first engagement. Not only did the most popular educational children's program of all time teach us to read, write, count, and make friends, but this was also the first time that I personally engaged with characters or personalities on an emotional level. I loved Elmo. I laughed at Grover. I was freaked out to a deep, deep core by Cookie Monster.
What?
I was afraid he's going to go on a power-crazy rage and eat my hands along with the cookies. Why would he stop?
What kind of sociopath do you think he is?
He needs therapy. Even going back to these characters at this age, I find myself consistently kind of entertained by them. Granted, it's for different reasons, like watch this.
Two. Oh, I'll never get it. Oh, I'm sorry, Ludwig. Oh.
Excuse me. Pardon me, Don, Mr. Music. Excuse me, Don. Listen, I'm Kermit the Frog of Sesame Street News.
Yes.
What seems to be the trouble?
Well, it's my new song. I can't find a word to rhyme with snow. I must have a lyric that sounds like snow. Something that lambs do that sounds like snow.
Rhyme for snow. Well,
Right.
listen, I'm good at rhymes. I do a rhyme all the time. You hear that? I did a rhyme just then.
That's very nice, but it
So,
won't
so
help
you
me.
want one that lambs do?
Right. I'll never get it. Never! Oh!
You'll hurt yourself in the head there, Don. Tell me, Don, you okay?
Yes.
What do little lambs do, anyhow?
Well, they go ba and, they run around a lot. That's it. They run all the time. They run.
Run, that's it.
That's
run.
it?
Yes, that's a good one.
Oh.
Get this. Mary had a little lamb. Its fleece was white as snow. And everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to run.
Oh, but that doesn't rhyme with snow. It must sound like snow.
Well, it doesn't have to sound like
Of course
snow.
it does.
No, it doesn't.
Oh.
All right, first of all, Kermit's kind of a jerk. Like, the guy's trying to come up with a rhyme, and he's like, it's easy, I can rhyme all the time. Come on. But that clip describes college on so many levels. Like, you're trying to do something, and you just want to slam your head on a piano.
Basically, everybody in editing.
Sesame Street, educating and entertaining people for all ages and all generations.
So, these two may have peaked a little early, but in their prime, they were legends among our generation. Drake Bell and Josh Peck starred in their own live-action comedy simply titled Drake and Josh. Debuting in 2004, this was one of the first non-animated shows I consistently watched and got a kick out of. It was not only a show many of us at the time could relate to, but it was also somewhat of a maturity transition between strictly animation to mixing it up between animation and live action.
And the battle begins. Oh, my worthy opponent. Are you prepared to ping the pong?
Whoa, I am prepared, young Szechuan. Your pong is no match for my ping.
Oh, do your worst.
You have smashed the window of transparency.
Okay, so in my list, I'm at the age where I'm at least comprehending things, but humor? Nah, that went over my head. Enter a sponge who lived in a pineapple under the sea. SpongeBob has been on the air for 15 years, had 2 movies, and yet it never fails to make me laugh with its sarcastic wit and totally bizarre creative choices. When a good episode of SpongeBob hits, I still believe it's as funny and smart as any comedy on television. People criticize it for being too stupid and for brainless idiots, and maybe it's my childhood nostalgia, but this was the first show that really made me understand what it means to make someone laugh through characters and story. And seriously, again, Squidward's total apathy for anything except sleeping and his arts is exactly what it's like to be a comm major or even host this show.
If you know me, you know I'm not exactly coordinated, and most sports just really aren't my thing. The first sports event I really started to get into was UFC, or Ultimate Fighting Championship. My dad introduced me in middle school. My mom hated it. But as long as I wasn't doing it myself and was tolerable, it was pretty much okay. And look at my arms. I run track. I wasn't fighting anybody.
Whistle, whistle.
But a man by the name of Matt Serra, an on-his-way-out fighter, had just defeated the next up-and-coming star, George St. Pierre, for the welterweight championship of the world. Still considered to be the greatest upset in UFC history, and he was moving directly behind us. So naturally, I thought it was the coolest thing ever. I had always loved action movies, but watching these professionals expertly fight for real was mesmerizing. This was, and still kind of is, the only televised sport I made a point to watch, and I would argue made me find a new appreciation for athletics and having a competitive drive. Even shaped how I watch some choreographed fight scenes today. But I won't show a clip here. We're a family-friendly program.
Kind of along those lines, I've been a movie kid for pretty much my entire life. However, there was a time where sports was a third party in my marriage with cinema. I still am an avid sports watcher today, but the first time I turned into ESPN and their flagship show, SportsCenter, I wanted to watch nothing else.
Here, try this.
The highlights? Ugh.
No?
No. Oh. The highlights, the analysis, the colorful commentators, they all fascinated me sport by sport. God damn it. I'm picky. I became hooked so much so that I went on to play many of these for most of my teenage life. The couch potato in me has taken back over, clearly. No, I don't like all potatoes, clearly. But alas, I'll let the dearly deceased Stuart Scott show you how much of fun it was to tune in every night past my bedtime for all the best highlights of the day.
Sure. Top 5. Booyah! Royce Clayton takes Juan Guzman out. Royce, slow your roll, kid. It's only his 5th homer of the year, but he rushed it and crushed it 423 feet. Go butter, because he is on a roll. And it's
Now, me personally, I've never really lived in a real world. My imagination is wild and always running. So for this next slot, I have 2 shows to include. I could have even gone more, but that kind of feels like cheating. So Pokemon and Naruto were both shows I greatly enjoyed eons ago and piqued my imagination in very different ways. So starting off with Pokemon, I had many video games, movies, and plenty of trading cards, which I'm going to sell when I'm 40 as a master plan to pay off college. But anyway, I love the idea of all these sort of monster-like creatures fighting, but we're your pets at the same time. I mean, who doesn't love a good monster fight with all kinds of powers and abilities, and who wouldn't love to own one, or 2, or 20, or be a master trainer, and gotta catch them all? Sorry, Andrew. Anyway, I love the concept. I love the creativity, the story, the adventures. It was just about my dream to own a Gengar or ride a Charizard. I still go back to my Game Boy about once or twice a year to demolish the Elite Four for fun because I'm an egotistical, power-hungry kid at heart. But then that brings me to Naruto. Naruto was introduced to my later-than Pokemon, but the fighting choreograph blew my mind. I always rooted for Naruto, the poor outcast boy, but virtually every character had something relatively cool about them, with many different fight styles that I would just watch in awe. Both are some of the most memorable animated series I ever watched.
Come on, match! Oh, it's okay if I go with Charizard, right, Pikachu? Pika? Charizard! I choose you! Oh, where'd Charizard go? Pikachu. Huh? Oh, I guess Charizard could still use a little training.
Watch out for Magmar's flamethrower.
I'll fight fire with fire. Charizard flamethrower attack!
Literally spitting fire. Nice. Okay, now there's a lot of choices I could make in order to properly address how I started watching television dramas. The first one I remember getting properly hooked to is Prison Break, which is a show I watched twice all the way through. It's a huge guilty pleasure. I've watched a lot of great television. My personal favorite is one that is coming later in the list for Jake. However, I think it would be a crime to do a television episode of The Middle Seats and not even mention Game of Thrones. There has never been anything quite like Game of Thrones, nor will there ever be. Each episode is dense in blood, nudity, language, shocking plot twists, unbelievable fantasy, world building, incredible acting, and if you're lucky, Hodor. Shows like Game of Thrones are thoroughly adult, mature, and addictive. This show represents how I've grown up. I can handle a drama such as this, and I now welcome every single shocking moment.
Okay, so if Jack Bauer were real, he'd be the most absurdly talented human being to ever walk the earth. He has saved America about 8 times, each time in 24 hours, and even saved London once. Sure, it was far-fetched, which is a Pokemon name, by the way. But come on, he was so cool and so badass, and even when the president ended up being the lead terrorist for like 3 seasons in a row, it was still entertaining. I would probably pick apart this show now, but it was the first hour-long, serious and intense show I ever really sat down and watched. It was violent, action-packed, suggestive at times, and they were even allowed a few curse words here and there. But I have to give 24 the credit of paving the way to so many new and mature shows, regardless of how ridiculous it may have been at times.
Sometimes reality is stranger than fiction. And sometimes that strangeness is buried under different agendas. This is especially true when it comes to politics and it is especially true when talking about politics and the media. Now, The Daily Show with Jon Stewart and the spin-offs that came from that program, The Colbert Report, Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, and a program that I was a part of for a period of time, The Nightly Show with Larry Wilmore, certainly lean more left than right, politically speaking. But Stewart and the shows of his kin are more interested in the very basic reporting of the facts as facts, not fiction. Stewart weeded through all the agendas and the BS and called people out on their different motives. In particular, the good folks over at Fox News. He made hard-hitting news understandable, streamlined, digestible, and very, very funny. I am now much more informed than I was before, and Stewart helped me become an informed person and recognize a bad egg when I see one.
Of course, no campaign launch would be complete without some weirdly third-person autobiography.
Imagine another teenage boy being raised in Houston, heading off to school over 1,000 miles away from home at a place where he knew nobody, where he was alone and scared.
Dude, you went to Princeton. Like, I mean, don't make it sound like you got forced onto the train to Hogwarts. Although that'd have been the easiest sorting hat ever. Slytherin, Slytherin it is. But Cruz.
So, in between 24 and this next pick was Walking Dead. I know, rough. But don't worry, I recovered nicely. Breaking Bad is arguably the greatest show of all time. It's my personal favorite and has set a very high standard for everything after it. I'm very stingy with giving out 10 out of 10s. Breaking Bad is one that's undeniably deserving. It is not the first serious, mature show I had ever watched, but it is one of the first and very, very few have been comparable since. Incredibly well written, phenomenally acted, and just put together amazing characters and told a brilliant story off of a relatively simple concept. We will forever remember his name.
Who is it you think you see? Do you know how much I make a year? I mean, even if I told you, you wouldn't believe it. Do you know what would happen if I suddenly decided to stop going into work? A business big enough that it could be listed on the NASDAQ goes belly up. Disappears. It ceases to exist without me. No, you clearly don't know who you're talking to, so let me clue you in. I am not in danger, Skylar. I am the danger. A guy opens his door and gets shot, and you think that of me? No. I am the one who knocks.
Jeez.
Awesome.
Still one of the best acted scenes I've ever seen, I think.
Pause. You don't like the chips?
No. No.
Sorry. But yeah, no.
Cheesy jalapeno.
They're delicious.
No.
They're delicious.
Don't be crazy. Anyways, going through yours, Drake and Josh is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Great show.
We were looking through clips earlier, and it's still funny.
It's still funny.
Still funny.
Yeah, it's like young adult teenager humor done right. You know, it's
Yeah.
nothing too offensive or anything, but it's clever, it's
Like the one
funny.
we just watched where the delivery man comes and gives his package. He's like, "Have a good day."
Don't tell me what to do.
All right.
It's pretty, yeah.
It's pretty funny. It's still pretty funny.
Never seen 24.
You're not missing a whole lot.
It
meant more to me.
I was more of a Yu-Gi-Oh guy.
I liked Yu-Gi-Oh a lot also, but Pokemon was definitely
I liked the
more.
cards.
Yu-Gi-Oh was definitely
There was
more
something
for
about the cards. Like once I got an Exodia once, and I think I cried more than
Oh, me too.
like,
Dude, you don't
I've ever
understand how
cried
many
in my
cards I
life.
have. I'm going to be a millionaire one day.
I don't think so. But
Probably not.
I'm gonna say false to that and
Fair
just.
enough. Yeah, call me out.
But I think it's interesting to see how these shows have molded us as
Absolutely.
we've come along because
Absolutely.
the way you watch TVs will also inform the way you watch movies.
Yeah, no, they really do. I think a great example is Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad is one of the most amazingly well-written shows I've ever seen, and it helped me realize how good and bad writing can be, and what is really good writing and what is not, and it paved the way for my realization of all of that.
And I think we're getting
really
really lucky right now with the age of television that we're in. A lot of people are calling this the golden age, especially with Netflix and all the different streaming.
Oh, yeah.
Premium sites, just the cable networks and everything like that, just putting out great content all over the
Everywhere.
place.
There's so much good stuff everywhere.
But talking about that, okay, so now we have a basis for, I don't know, how we watch TV. And I know we speak for the both of us when we say that these shows are what made us the avid watchers that we are today.
Yeah. We try to watch as many shows as possible, but they're just some we can't do.
For various reasons, the shows that we are about to talk about are shows that we just stopped watching, whether it be for timing reasons, lack of quality, or overall annoyance.
These are shows that a lot of you viewers actually probably like, but they just didn't click for us personally.
And don't take anything like offensive here. This is a minor one, but back in 2009, Modern Family established itself as one of the best young comedies on television. It's a colorful ensemble cast, funny and relatable storylines, and a mockumentary twist on this 21st century family dynamics. It had a fresh and electric energy that I enjoyed, and then it became no longer fresh. And I can test that the energy has dissipated over the years. And now it's everywhere. It is consistently on in my household, and I've become just numb to it. It's not like Modern Family is an awful show or anything, but I seriously needed a break from the status quo.
So, I really like Jessica Jones. I am currently loving season 2 of Daredevil, but I couldn't quite get into Arrow. Now, I only tried a few episodes, and I thought the character was cool. It had a mysterious aspect to it, but it never quite reeled me in. So, maybe I didn't get deep enough. Maybe I tried to watch too many things at one time, and this one just didn't quite make the cut at this given time that I was in. But I'm not entirely sure for overall. But it's a pretty popular show, and this DC superhero show just, I don't know, didn't quite pull the arrow through my heart like it did so many others.
Good one. Talk about having a great freshman year and then flunking out. NBC's superhero drama Heroes had one of the best first seasons I've ever seen. It was mysterious, dark, impressively detailed, and most importantly, fun. I really enjoyed watching it each week, even if the final episode of the first season did not live up to the literal ticking time bomb of the season. And then, creator Tim Kring and company got stuck up their own asses. Things got more complicated and confusing, and that sense of fun slowly but surely evaporated. It became the camp without the actual camp, so basically it just became nothing. 3 seasons and a reboot attempt later, Heroes was finished. I didn't stick around to watch the train wreck.
Ooh. So Orange is the New Black is fine. I got through the first season and didn't dislike it by any means, but simply never cared to continue on to the next season. I thought the story was fine. I like some of the characters, but there are simply better options out there for me personally. I was never compelled enough to keep going on this woman's jail drama, pretty much.
Modern Family got old, Heroes got stale, but somehow Lost never got lost to me. J.J. Abrams' hugely popular sci-fi drama asked a lot of its audience. Some of the twists were crazy. The character motivations were always questionable. It was as bumpy a ride on the island as it was on the plane ride crashing, landing down. But for the most part, I rolled with it because I got so connected to the characters and performances. Basically, I was halfway through season 5 and enjoyed what I saw. So then why did I stop? Well, my watching was parallel to the series finale, which was going on at the same time as watching season 5, which, let's just say, prompted some passionate thoughts. So I thought, hey, why not be a narcissist for once and admire my own happiness instead of causing myself pain and disappointment? I think I've earned it.
I appreciate that. The Walking Dead. I liked it when it started, and I gave it numerous chances when it got bad. I really did. But I can't stick with a show where the writers clearly have no idea what they're doing. They have no sense of direction, no pacing, inconsistent character development, and just seem blatantly clueless. They build up plot points that amount to nothing, and the last half of season 4 literally is undone within the first episode of season 5. Like, come on. What the hell was the point then? And I mean, I gotta give a little credit because they did create a decent post-apocalyptic universe, and they have a few really good characters. But overall, it's just,
I've been to 8 county fairs and 1 goat rodeo. I've never seen anything like that.
We are definitely in agreement about The Walking Dead.
yeah.
100%.
I mean, like, sure, the clip was like somewhat comical, but come on. Like, first pick a tone. Sometimes it's overly violent and it's really serious, and then they're killing people with fire hoses. Like, there's no sense of direction at all.
It's
in
true.
That show.
It's a
There's
show
none.
that like delves deep into depression and the post-apocalyptic, and then it has like turns into like a comic book movie. Like I mean, you can balance the two, but like the show is so wildly inconsistent, and it moves so slow.
And I think when I first realized that I may be on my way out was when they introduced the two characters you saw. One was apparently a scientist, and he's like, I know what caused this thing. And Glenn goes, okay, what? He goes, it's classified. No.
Not in that
There's no
situation,
government.
no.
There is nothing. Classified by who? Shut up. Oh my, that was when I was like,
You tell them.
The show's
You tell those fictional characters.
stupid. All right, like you don't do the
No, I do the exact same thing. Let's talk about your other two choices. Arrow's a solid show.
I know.
I'm not far into it. I finished season 1. Get to the end of season 1. If you don't like it then don't go back to it.
I probably will.
Because the end of season 1's really good. Same thing with Orange is the New Black. I tried it once and did not like it. Then I went back and did it again recently, and I enjoyed it. Yeah.
All right.
Again, I have to
Well-
get through. Only through season 1, I got to get through it.
I'm being so rude. Chewing my mouth open.
Yeah, because you don't lick your mustache every show.
I haven't done it yet. Anyway, is season 2 better than season 1 of Orange is the New Black?
I haven't started it yet. I just finished season 1. I don't know what to tell you. Anyways, okay, so we've come to the finale of our show. So why not talk about some finales, Jake?
Interesting choice. A show can be as great as humanly possible, but if it doesn't stick the landing, then what was it all for?
That's a discussion we'll have after this. But for now, as we approach the end of this show, let's talk about which shows did and did not finish with a bang.
So this is another show I didn't bother with the second season, but that's because the seasons aren't connected, and the first season was really, really good. The first season of True Detective brought out a great performance from Woody Harrelson, and I think maybe the best ever from Matthew McConaughey. The two detectives try to uncover a series of murders while dealing with their own personal issues at home as well. Sounds kind of unoriginal, but it is one of the better takes on a TV cop thriller out there. And the finale, no spoilers, but it wraps up so nicely.
I decided to lump these next 3 sitcoms together just because there's a very clear thing that you have to do and write in order to get a strong series finale out of a sitcom. You have to give the characters a proper goodbye and send-off. The combo of 30 Rock, The Office, and Friends are 3 of the powerhouse comedies in television history, some of the most memorable characters to boot. They all struggled towards their end of their final seasons, but the finales all paid strong homage to what worked in the past. I felt justified in my investment to these characters, and I was sad to say goodbye to Liz Lemon, Tracy Jordan, Jack Donaghy, Michael Scott, Jim Halpert, Dwight Schrute, Ross Geller, Chandler Bing, and Joey Tribbiani, among others.
All of them?
All of them. Wow. Yeah.
So, much like what he was just talking about, I realized earlier this year that I've only been watching serious or dramatic shows up until this year. So I decided to take a break and try the much talked about Parks and Rec, which I hope goes down in the same category as Friends and The Office, because it's just amazing. And it was such a great choice. Parks and Rec is filled to the brim with great, lovable characters who never allow the audience a dull moment. We get consistent laughs, we get invested in the story, and we market all the wonderful character arcs too. We get great performances from the likes of the always happy, persistent, and goal-oriented Leslie Knope, played by Amy Poehler, a stubborn, set-in-his-ways, anti-government employee, Man's Man and Ron Swanson, played by Nick Offerman, the show's lovable idiot, Andy Dwyer, played by Chris Pratt, the materialistic entrepreneur, Tom Haverford, who is Aziz Ansari, Ben Wyatt is played by Adam Scott, the nerdy, business-type guy who nails the straight man acts as well as his comedic tendencies, and those are just to name a few. By the time the final episode of the final season hits, so will the feels.
Some shows have finales that know they're finales. They're awarded that luxury. This is the end of the road. The creators have been given a chance to wrap it up. Other shows don't have that luxury for a variety of reasons involving studios, actors, and programming. Some shows are canceled prematurely. 2 of the most famous examples of this unfortunate casualty of the dog-eat-dog world of primetime are Freaks and Geeks and Firefly. Both canceled by Fox after 1 short season, yet both had the potential to become one of the greatest shows of all time. For what it's worth, though, these were 2 perfect seasons of television, punctuated by a self-contained, perfect finale. Don't weep too much for the people behind these long laid-to-rest shows, however. The creator of Firefly, Joss Whedon, director of 2 Avengers films. The creator of Freaks and Geeks, Paul Feig, director of Bridesmaids and an upcoming Ghostbusters reboot. The actors in Freaks and Geek, Seth Rogen, James Franco, Jason Segel. I think they're doing okay.
So, I touched on Breaking Bad earlier, but it absolutely deserves a second go-around. Because it's my favorite show, naturally, I love the fitting end to the unbelievable Walter White story. Walt is a straight-edge chemistry teacher diagnosed with cancer and can't afford the treatment. He calls up his old student to start cooking meth to make some extra money. They wind up in trouble with the Lord of Drug Lords and his minions, the DEA, who happen to be Walt's brother-in-law, family troubles, and just about as many messed-up situations as you could possibly think of. Walt and his partner Jesse, played by Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul respectively, are deep characters who we grow to adore, fear, hate, admire, and everything like that, and even through their highs and lows, you can't help but be captivated by everything they do. The ending may not have been the most epic finale of all time, but it was about as fitting of an end as can be. A perfect fit to a near perfect show.
So we've touched on all these great finales, but I want to talk about two finales that, while not ruining the legacy of their shows, definitely tarnished it a bit. Seinfeld is still one of the best sitcoms of all time, but its finale is such a wet fart of an episode that the conclusion felt more like a massacre of a moment than a moment of jubilation. Meanwhile, we spent 9 seasons trying to figure out who would be the mother on How I Met Your Mother, yet when we finally saw everything come to its conclusion, we all thought, never mind. These shows are still sharp comedies, just don't expect an ending that satisfies you if you endure through the binging process. Do you have any finales that you would say kind of disappointed you? You can even do season ones, too.
Other than Walking Dead?
Oh, I mean, I felt like every season
Walking
finale
Dead.
of The Walking Dead was disappointing.
Oh my God. I'm trying to think.
This is just crap. This is just the crap on Walking Dead show, apparently.
For now, yeah, that's totally
I
fine.
mean, we only get our...
Idiots.
Yeah. Oh my God.
There were some 24 finales where it's just like, all right, really.
Did you make it all the way through 24?
I watched not every season, but I watched a good chunk of them.
Okay.
Yeah, not all of them though. I didn't watch the one in London. I didn't watch the earlier seasons, but I'd say I probably watched about half the show. I was pretty invested in it.
I would say I wasn't a huge fan of the series finale of that 70s show.
I've only seen I've seen a decent amount of episodes, but never in chronological
I
order.
binged most of it.
Was that like a summer project?
Yeah, it was one of the summer projects that I do. And I just got to the end. The final season of the whole final season is pretty awful because Topher Grace leaves and Ashton Kutcher leaves. So like, why even stay around? But then the finale didn't even fix anything really.
This is awful here.
Those are the main ones I can think of.
Yeah, I don't know. I've only seen a handful of like TV shows start to finish, so I only have so many finales that I can really talk about. Freaks and Geeks wrapped up really nicely. Parks and Rec. I know you said The Office and a couple other shows like that kind of went down towards the end. In my opinion, Parks doesn't do that. And
I'm excited.
That's why I'm hoping Parks kind of does go down in history over time because it's really just season 2 on is just great TV.
And I also want to get to True Detective at some point, season 1.
Yeah,
Would
season
you
one's
come
really
back
good.
to the show if there's a season 3 and you hear it's good?
Yes, I heard season 2 wasn't that great, so I didn't bother with it. But if there's season 3, good casting and good writing and everything, yeah, I would definitely.
Finales are important.
Very.
TV shows are important.
And I'm glad you brought up Game of Thrones, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Because that is one of the only shows that I think comes close to Breaking Bad right now.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
One of the
Well,
other ones.
we've been watching and talking about television for long enough tonight. Netflix is asking us if we want to continue, and we're going to say no. So that'll do it for the series finale of The Center Cushion. Thanks for coming along for this long ride, everybody.
I guess we've been canceled.
We've been canceled.
Breaking. It is at this time that I'd like to share a public announcement. Andrew and I would like to encourage you to please email us any questions, comments, and suggestions. The email is
The Middle Seats
Seats
Show. Middle Seats Show at yahoo.com.
But next time, it's back to movies, and we'll most likely be enduring the bare necessities of the Jungle Book.
That'll do it for us. I'm Andrew Auger.
And I'm Jake Hensler.
Keep that that cushion warm, everyone. I got a little used to it there. Watch a little bit of Daredevil, and then get ready to head back to the middle
Daredevil.
seats
Daredevil's
very
really good.
soon.
Daredevil's
We're
really
going back to
good.
the middle seats next, so get away from this cushion. Ay.
Does anybody want some? They're delicious.